Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today it is raining cats and dogs, and I wanted to do something because I'm bored, so I thought I'd bring you along with me. What I've decided to do today is clean up some of my favorite old school guns, and we're going to take a look at them and show you that now some of them is some of them got some wire, but most of them I've took really good care of, and we're going to clean them and oil them because they don't see a lot of use anymore. They're just more or less here because of their sentimental value to me, and I like to get them out. Like normally, I do it during the winter when it's snowing and nasty and stuff like that. But it's raining. It's been raining now for 2 days, and we've got like, I'm gonna say, I think we've got about 7 inches of rain, and you know, I'm doing good to get out and feed the critters. It's so bad, but we'll start out with this is like one of the first guns I ever owned, and it's a see which this is. This is the Winchester model Spectacle Time. It's a 67A. Uh, this one is a safe queen. She very seldom gets brought out, but as we know, even the ones that we keep in the safe get dirty and need to be cleaned. The first thing I'm going to do is pull the bolt. This one's here is a little sometimes hard to get the bolt out, but if we're as old as this one is, there it went. I guess we'd have a few issues too. I'm going to take her off the stock today and clean her thoroughly. You got a big flat screwdriver or screw right here. This is one of the first guns that I learned to shoot, was a single shot 22. Uh, we used to rabbit hunt with them, and it's no joke. You had to aim like a foot to the left. We didn't know how to adjust, the sights and stuff on one, and you had to aim like a foot to the left with the ones that we had because the little sight on the front had never not been adjusted. And I remember we went down to a little old gun store in Big Stone, and man, we thought we were really grown up. You know what I'm saying? Because we was getting rifles, and it was like a big day for all of us, and we got to pick out our own rifle. And you don't find this gun is well over 40-year-old. I'm gonna say it's over 60-year-old, and the rifles in it still look perfect. It, and like you can see, it's been well taken care of. It's got a little tire where the stock's been rubbing it, but the bluing on this gun is almost perfect. The wood is as slick as it could be. This little gun has been took very good care of. And it's one of them that, you know, if somebody ever ended up buying it, it would definitely hurt their wallet tremendously. There's just certain things I have I don't care nothing about selling, and today's guns that you see will be, part of those. Now, this ain't all the older guns I have. This is just a few I picked out that I hadn't cleaned in a minute, and I want to give them a good thorough cleaning. This one here, a friend of mine had for a minute, and I'll be honest with you, I couldn't stand it being gone. I know that they would took care of it and done right by it, but just the thought that it wasn't here was drove me nuts, and I managed to get it back home. And as we say, yeah, we won't make that mistake again. That's the one we needed. I shot a groundhog the other day with this, and it's one reason I want to clean it. Yeah. And 22s are notorious for having, dirty, the bullets are dirty and they're very corrosive. So that's a gun you really want to stay on top of if you want to keep it, where it's really neat and clean and, not gumming up and misfiring and stuff. But today I finally got the critters took care of. I did get that done. But I'll be honest, I got a wet behind doing it. But like I said, it's rained and rained and rained and rained some more. Not complaining. I'm glad to see every drop of it because we had a lot of people that springs and stuff. My buddy out here, his spring was getting low, and it hadn't rained in 3 weeks. So I know he's proud to see it come back. And I tell everybody it's a good thing we don't have control of the weather because some of us would cause it to rain too much. Others would cause it to, rain not near enough. And, I guess he knowed what he was doing when he decided that he wasn't going to put us in charge of it. These little guns, where they were, they're older, they was so much simpler to work on. It's like this little trigger on this one. It's just a pivot. The trigger pulls, when you pull the trigger, it pulls out of the way and releases the firing pin. You got to cock it yourself. And when you work the bolt, that just literally throws the shell out of it. You have to cock the firing pin, which puts it over the trigger. And the trigger just slides out of the way and releases the firing pin. You couldn't get much simpler than that. And this little gun right here has killed several squirrels, coons, possums, groundhogs, and stuff like that. And rabbits galore. When I was a youngin', this is what I carried on my trap line. You know, when we went to check the traps, you just carried a little single shot 22 with you. So at you know, when you got to wherever your traps was, you could dispatch the animal. I miss doing things, you know, like we used to, trapping and stuff, but there's really, in down here where I'm from, there's not much money in it. It's just they don't buy, the furs don't bring nothing. We don't have a cold as winter as we used to, and they don't make a nice of a under fur, you know, undercoat to their fur. So, you know, they like to buy furs more northern anymore than us. So we just don't have a fur market really. There's still a few of us that trap, and you know, but you're just going to make enough to more or less keep trapping. You're not going to make no money. You're just going to make enough to keep trapping. And there's some of us still do it for predator control. But if you look right here, I don't know if you can see it or not. See that little dimple right there, right below my finger? There's one on the other side. That's what holds the trigger in it. Like I said, it's just a pivot. Anytime you're doing oil on your stocks and stuff, take your time and give them a little bit to soak in, you know, and kind of massage it in. And that helps protect that wood. This little gun, I mean, for its age, it's almost in mint condition. I see one little nick right there. But overall, the little gun's almost in perfect condition. This little gun's light. It's quiet. I mean, you can put subsonics in it, and it's mind-boggling what little noise it makes. But back then, the barrels were longer, and you know, you take and compare this to a modern day barrel. This is long, like this one. You know, they made these barrels longer, and they were quieter. Let's see. Let me lay this up here while I wipe down the boat. But you see how little it takes to clean these guns? You don't want to over oil a 22 like this because of the fact that the bullet is so, you know, dirty. You just want a fine skim of oil on it, just more or less enough to know it's there and to keep it working. And I oil everything. I oil the bolt. But if you take care of these little 22s, I swear they'll last forever. And if I could, I'd have a dozen of these old single shots. I actually do love these little guns. Let me put a little drop of oil on that slide. We'll install this bolt back into it. Like that. And this, and you have to pull the bolt back. Or the bolt, yeah, you pull the firing pin. This is actually the firing pin that goes up. And then you turn this up, and that's safety. You flip that back down, and it's on fire. I don't like dry fire these old rifles, so I just let it down by hand. But I'm going to rub this and down again all over to get my fingerprints and stuff off of it. And make sure that I didn't leave no sweat or residue on the barrels. Okay, there we go. There's one. Let's bring the next one over. This is an old single barrel shotgun. Now, I'll probably, the 22 here, where it's such a clean gun, I won't redo it this winter. But now, that thing's so slick, it won't sit up there. There we go. This shotgun, if you look, it's got a lot of the bluing off of it. It's showing a lot of wire. The stock and stuff, like, see that dimple? With a little bit of work, I can pull most of them out and clean the gun up really nice. And see, it's got a crack right there. I can fix that. And, you know, get the gun back into a really good condition. I like this old single barrel. I shot it and left the shell in it. And it had a shell got stuck in it when we was going to go hunting that one day. I was going to take it. But I just didn't want to, you know, I wanted to clean it, check it out, and see why that shell jammed up. But it was just the hole got kind of swelled up. She needs cleaned. But, you know, this is another real nice little gun. I like these old guns. They're getting harder to find. People ain't letting them out of their hand, out of their grip some more. Somebody's over tightening that. See, when you over tighten this little screw, that's what. Let me show you. See if she'll sit there. See this little screw right there? When you over tighten it, that's what busts these stalks right here. And that just holds this in right here. It doesn't have to have that much pressure. But somebody's just over tightened that one in time. It's not a big deal, and it's not that hard to fix. And I will address that issue when I redo the gun to put it up. I've got enough modern day guns, you know, shotguns and stuff. My nephew brought this one over for me to clean. It's a little Harrison Richardson 410. I cleaned it up, and that's another slick little gun. No, it's a New England Firearms. Little 410, and it needs a little bit, like it's got a few little dents and scratches in the wood, but the bluing and everything's real good in it. I broke it apart and cleaned it up for him, and it's just waiting to pick up. I'll rub it back down when I get done here. But if you look, this part here has no bluing left on it. So if you don't keep it oiled, it's going to rust. And the barrel, like right in there, see how that's got no bluing left on it? That's why I like taking them apart and cleaning them. And that way I can oil everything. But this single barrel has a V channel right here to aim it by. And the little old bead on that thing is so tiny. But it is accurate as it can be with that the way it is. Let me prop this up right here. Okay. I got my 12 gauge little brush. I'm always going to pawn shops, gun shows and stuff like that, trying to find some of these old school guns. You just don't find them. there's a bigger, I guess you call it's city, but it's not like New York City. It's just the city of Kingsport, and then there's the town of Rogersville. But I'm gonna go and look in them. I ain't been down there a long time looking through the pawn shops and stuff to see if they have anything, but I'd like to go back and see. And maybe I can find a few more that's, not in perfect condition, and we could redo them. I don't know if I can get to where you could see it, but look how slick the bore is in that shotgun. No rust, no pits, nothing. That gun is absolutely just clean inside. But now the outside has seen some wear and tear, which, we'll address that this winter. And please be sure all your guns are unloaded before you try to clean them or anything. I couldn't tell you how many times I've heard of people, had a gun go off and shot them because they didn't empty the gun properly. As old saying is, check it twice. Well, I would always recommend you check it twice. But if y'all got these old guns laying back in the closet, take them out every now and again. Give them a good scrub them, give them a little love, show them that, you ain't forgot about them. Oh, let me lay this up here right now. But see how much better that barrel looks with a little bit of oil rubbed on it? Now, I'm not going to disassemble this yet because, where I plan on rebluing them, you have to get these things, all the oil out of them. But I still don't want them to rust before I get around to, disassemble them and clean them. And we still got that Model 10 in there that we're going to completely revamp. We're going to put, we're going to redo it. And it'll be with this collection. I don't know. I was just raised with guns. I like guns. I respect guns. And, I know that, yeah, they're defense weapons and, you can use them and all that for that. But, I love to hunt. And I've hunted since I was, and I know everybody's going to gasp. I think when we got our first guns, I was 12-year old. My little brother was 11. And our dad took us and got us a little single shot 22. And we had rules. He gave you, it was squirrel season, you got 6 shells. And if you went up there and wasted them shells, the next time you went out, let's say you had 3 shells when you come home. Well, you got those same 3 shells back until you killed 3 squirrels. Then you could graduate back up to 4. We was taught you didn't waste shells, and we didn't. Trust me, we didn't waste them. And I remember when we used to kill hogs, there was a Bishop's Grocery up the road, probably a mile from where we lived. They would send us up our buddy to get, if we had 5 hogs, 5 22 shells. And, times were hard when I was growing up. We didn't have it easy. But, our parents didn't let you waste. Now, that was just a simple fact. You could go out, we was taught to go target practice. We was allowed to go target practice. But, you didn't go out there and shoot up no whole 50 boxes of shells target practicing. you went out there and you shot, and if you hit that target 2 or 3 times, or the little circle 2 or 3 times, well, you was good enough. And you put that gun up. And we had guns sitting all over the house, everywhere. They was sitting beside doors and everything. We didn't bother them guns because our parents taught us this thing called the fear of God. And they instilled that in you. And, when you looked at a gun, it would possess you. Because if you got caught messing with a gun when you wasn't supposed to, it didn't matter if it was in your room in a gun rack, you had better not. Because somebody would have took the hide off your hind end. And if mommy caught you and took the hide off your hind end, when daddy come in, he would have a refresher course with you. And then you could lose your gun privileges. You'd have your guns took. And growing up to us, man, that'd been like kids losing their cell phones today. I mean, we didn't like losing our guns. This here is my old, this looks like a semi-automatic, but it's not. It's an old bolt gun. You have to push that in, and it's a single shot bolt. Well, actually, it's got up here, it holds 3, but I'm saying, you have to make it release that shell. And this is a Stevens Model 124C. And the neat thing is this little paper right here tells you this is one of the first synthetic stocks that they put on a gun to test it. And it said it was to make it hold, the look and stuff better than wood. And this little gun here, I'm telling you, it's as slick as a ribbon. The bluing on it's might near perfect. The only place it's got any wires right there where that thing snaps in and out. But other than that little gun right there is almost perfect. I'm going to rub it down and I'm going to run that thing through the barrel. And make sure that the barrel's good and clean. I like to make sure that I don't leave gunpowder and stuff in my guns because it's just hard on them. And you can pit a barrel just so easy. And this thing here, it's got a good tight choke in it. And it's killed a couple squirrels. It's killed I think 1 turkey with it. But when we was growing up, you was allowed 1 tom, per year. And that was only in the spring. And they wasn't none of this killing hens and stuff like that in the fall. That mess just didn't happen. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that now. I'm just saying, like when I was a youngin', you was allowed $1 per year. That was it. No does, none of that other stuff. You just allowed that $1 per day per season. And trust me, we bow hunted. We had the cheapest bows you could buy, but we went bow hunting. Muzzle loaders were Thompson centers, side hammers. But, at that time, that was a pretty modern gun. And you hunted all season until once you killed something, your season was over. But if it got into rifles, my first deer was with a shotgun. I stopped at an old man. If you're around this area, you might know him. His name was Will Smith. And he had a grocery store. And he sold guns in that grocery store. I didn't have a gun. I'd done monkeyed around, and I don't know if I'd sold or I didn't have a gun to deer hunt with. I had a 22. Probably had a couple 22s. Well, we went into his store, And I was looking for like a 30-30 or something. Well, we got in there and they was all gone. Of course, it was deer season. Everybody else done what I done. You know, they run down there to buy them a used gun for deer season. Well, I asked him, I said, what do you have that'll kill a deer? And he had a little old Winchester 37A 20 gauge, as somebody had cut the choke out of it. He said, now it's been cut, and said they moved the sight back. And I said, well, do you have some shells for it? And he had some double aught buckshot, or buckshot. I don't remember if it's single or double or what, but that's buckshot 3-inch magnums for that 20 gauge. And I was not missing a day of deer hunting, so I took that 20 gauge and took it deer hunting. And looks like my jaw's swelled up there, but I don't think it is. Walked up in the woods. Man, we didn't have camo. I did have on a pair of like brown, tannish colored breeches, and I believe, best I remember, I had a green shirt and a vest. Walked up there. My brothers went on where they was going. Little old 3-point walk down there, Lord, his horn's about that long, sticking up about like that and like this. But I was 15, 16-year-old. I seen horns, and that was justification enough. Whirled around there. Boom. Well, we tracked him for the longest ways and got him out. And, buddy, you talking about proud as a peacock? Now, I was sure proud that I'd got to kill that deer. And it was actually, I think it was the first deer that any of us, that me and my brothers killed. Then the next year, I know this gun here ain't empty. That's why I'm going to go ahead and empty it. This is my critter getter. See, even when you think it was unloaded, it may not be. Now it's going to show its butt. Now this little gun right here, I ain't got no joke to tell nobody. If I could find a dozen of these, I would have them. This is a Remington 550-I. It's a little semi-automatic rifle, and it shoots shorts, long rifles. And I've cleaned this one before with you all watching, but I see it's got dust starting to get on it, and I'm not going to break it apart and clean it. I just want to wipe it down. And we're kind of getting in this video a little ways, so I'm trying to save a little time too. But I just want to give her a good rub down to make sure that she's not starting to rust anywhere. This one has a little blemish up here towards the end of the barrel. And I thought about giving her a good, if I can get the good bluing, I would go ahead and just give her a blue. And I started to send her back to Remington, and they'll actually, sometimes they'll restore your guns. But I hunted so long and so hard for this gun, I just don't like it being out of my possession. It's got a few little blemishes where it needs to be, the wood needs to be worked a little bit. But overall, this gun, as far as its age, it's in mint condition. But my papa had one that he left to my father. That's what I understood. And when my father passed away, my little brother got his Remington 550. And I'd always wanted one because I'd watch my dad shoot skeets with his, and we was just, in awe that well, I know that I laid that rod down somewhere. That he could shoot skeets with it, but he could, we couldn't. Now, they ain't changed in the world. We'd have shot skeets in 22. What did I do with it? There it is. It was hid behind the yeah. The gun sled. Now I'm oiling this because they can get rusty, and I don't want these to get don't want to get rusty. And there we go. The safe queens are ready for the safe again. I'm thinking about buying me I've got 2 small safes. Think about buying me another one and just putting the guns like this in it, and that'll be the ones that we don't even talk about, we don't discuss. And then I'll have one for, let's say hunting guns. Then we'll have the ones for, tricks like this and the AR-15s and all that. Now, me go ahead and wipe this one down real quick. And this little gun here, it's a nice little gun. He's had it for a while. It's one of them he won't let go of. But as clean as this little gun is, I would definitely put it up, because these little Harrison Richards and New England firearms stuff, they're kind of getting scarce too. And people are asking crazy prices for these old guns. And it don't make sense to me. I had one guy I was asking, he had one of these right here, 410, just like this, for sale. And I got a buddy hunting one for his grandson. And I thought, well, if I could get it at the right price, I would help him out and pass it on over to him. Asked me $300. $300 for one of these little 410s. And trust me, it was not in the greatest shape. And I looked at that dude, I said, I know you're kidding. He said, no, buddy, I'm not. He said, you ain't priced these type of guns here lately. I told him, I said, dude, I don't care. There ain't no way that I would give $300 for a Harrison Richardson or a New England Firearms. You used to buy these for $99 at Walmart, all you could carry out of the store. And, I know there was millions of these things sold. And that's why I say I'm going to have to get into some pawn shops and, look around, because people's losing their minds on these guns. And it's because the election's coming up, and they think that makes the guns worth 10 times, 20 times the value. And it don't. It's just an election, people. And even if Ms. Harris wins, they can talk all that they want to. But I don't think the American people is going to just hand over their guns. And I'll tell her right now, she keeps talking about a buyback program. You can't buy back what you never owned. And they're talking about giving $300 a piece for ARs and stuff while they drunk. My AR ain't nothing special, but I'll tell you right now, they ain't getting it for no $300 or $200. Said they talking about a gift card. Psh, try about $1,500, $2,000, and then we'll discuss it. But mine may get lost in a terrible boating accident. When we was all fishing, there's a couple of y'all got my witness there that we turned that John boat over, and they must have been hundreds of guns went down in the river, just lost forever. But they're clean. There's 5 guns clean, and I gotta get my nephew his back unless I can bribe him or con him or something into let me become the new owner of that little 410. But my buddy is still hunting one for his grandson, and if I guess if I found one, I'd pass it on to him. He's a good friend of mine. But I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for coming on, watching me clean these guns and stuff. Y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day, and remember, get them old safe queens out and give them a little love, give them a little rub down. They enjoy it just as much as you do. And, I ain't saying nothing, but if you got some of them that the old mountain man might like to, clean for you. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't lost your mind, let me know, because I like these old guns. If you got a gun that you would like to, see me restore, I will be going to pawn shops and stuff like that looking for guns to restore, because I love to restore these old guns. Let me know, and I'll try to see if I can find it. I'll make a list of what y'all would like to see restored, and maybe if you got one, you can restore it as we go along. But it's been about 42 minutes, so I'm gonna let you go. Y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be good to each other. And we'll see you on the next video. But get the ladies out, show them a little love, fellas. Ladies, too. If you're ladies or fellas, get them out and give them a little loving. All righty. We'll talk to you on the next video. Oh.